Hello, and welcome to Lunch with the Librarian's Husband. I'm Miss Jen's husband, Joe. I'm a high school teacher at Thornton High School, and during the school year, I like to cook my lunches on Sunday, pack them up so they're easy to grab and carry out the door. Mostly because food in the school cafeteria can be a little bit scary.
Ain't that the truth, ladies and gentlemen out there?
So this is one of my biggest hit recipes, one of the ones my wife found for me, I've fallen in love with, and I've modified to be my very own. It's been also a big hit with my coworkers who I eat lunch with, who are usually very, very jealous. It's also very quick and easy to put together. So this is what we call a sheet pan dinner. Everything goes right onto the sheet pan together, and your first ingredient is sausage. You can use any kind of sausage you want. I've used Kielbasa, I've used Polish sausage. This is a smoked garlic sausage that I just happen to have left over in the freezer from my last birthday.
Is it important that it's a cooked sausage, or can they use like a raw, like links of Italian sausage or bratwurst?
You really want something more like Kielbasa. If you cut the skin open and meat spills out and it's loose, it's not going to cook all that well.
Buzz.
You want something where it's going to be more solid, something you can cut into coins. Now, the way you do this is you want it into pretty small chunks. I've done it where you have much bigger chunks than what I'm doing here, but the more of the inside of the casing you expose, the more it'll caramelize and the better it's going to taste. So I like to do about 2-inch segments.
How much sausage is that by weight?
It calls for about 2 pounds for the recipe. You can easily have this recipe if you don't have 2 pounds of sausage laying around. But I cut them into, they say, about 2-inch lengths. And then what you want to do is take a sheet pan and you want to arrange these around the outside of the sheet pan. Ideally, I'd say make sure your open side of the sausage is visible. Don't put it down onto the pan because it'll caramelize a lot better. At least it always has when I cook this. So you make a nice little happy ring of sausage. And the next thing you're going to do is cut up your vegetables. Now, the recipe for this originally called for 2 large onions and 2 large peppers. I love onions. I love onions. But onions don't love me, and my wife is not a huge fan of onion breath. So I made a few modifications to the recipe. I like to start with pretty much 2 red peppers. You can cut them up however you like. I like some big rustic pieces, so that's how I cut these up. And I'm going to put them on a bed right here in the middle of the tray. Like I said, since I don't use onions, I needed something to replace it with, so I chose mushrooms. I love mushrooms. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these, I'm going to scatter them all over the tray.
How big a container is that, Joe?
These are 2 8-ounce containers. Again, if you want to do half the recipe, do half the sausage, half the pepper, and half the mushrooms. But I'm a big eater, and I like big lunches. And since I'm making enough for, say, 5 lunches, and who am I kidding, a couple breakfasts, I like to have a nice big tray of stuff. And I'll mix it up with the peppers, sort of incorporate that in there. Now, that's going to be dry. You don't want that to go in the oven that way, because, well, it'll get a little smoky. So here's where the flavoring comes in. I take a little olive oil. You can also use vegetable oil if you want. And scatter it. Be generous on the vegetables.
Are you just, like, about how much oil would you say you use?
About 2 tablespoons.
Okay.
And then I like to salt and pepper liberally.
A link to this recipe is going to be included with the video, just like they always are, on Facebook and on the Youth Services YouTube channel. So if you want more exact measurements than Joe is giving you, please feel free to hop on and click on that link.
You'll also notice how I've modified the recipe from its original. But that's okay. This is a recipe that's very, very forgiving, and you can do a lot of different things with it. Now, the other key element to all this is one of the food of my homeland, pierogies.
Your homeland? You're from Aurora.
My family, my ancestral homeland. So, pierogi is something I like to pick up and throw in the freezer and just have around all the time.
Lower.
And I tend to get a mixed bag of pierogies. For example, these were on sale at Aldi a couple weeks ago.
You're good.
Beef pierogi. These are mashed potato and cheddar pierogies that I've had in the freezer for probably 6 months. It's an easy way to use them, and there's nothing wrong with mixing and matching. Now, we want to season these before they go on the tray, though.
Any kind of savory pierogi is what you want. So if you like sauerkraut or bacon or whatever, all of that would be fantastic.
For the love of God, there are sweet cheese pierogies you can buy. Don't be fooled. This is a dessert pierogi. You want something savory. So now I'm going to take my olive oil again, and I'm going to put about a tablespoon and a half in a bowl. Into this, I'm going to throw my seasonings. We have a tablespoon of dark chili powder and about a half a teaspoon each of granulated garlic and granulated onion.
Not garlic salt, not onion salt.
No.
Powder. Dehydrated powder.
And then the other thing you want to add is hot sauce. I know a lot of people are like, pierogies and hot sauce? It sounds a little weird. Trust me, it's brilliant.
And yes, we really do buy our hot sauce in jugs that big.
Yeah.
We're that household.
The recipe actually calls for about a half a tablespoon. I think that's crazy, and I like to go for about a tablespoon and a half.
You can always add more later.
Now you should have something that looks like
Hang on.
this in your bowl, and I strongly advise taking a fork or a spoon or a tiny whisk and mixing it together just a little bit.
Hashtag Babish shout out.
That was a shout out to my favorite internet cook, Binging with Babish on YouTube. All right.
I'll link to his channel too, by the way, if you're interested.
Once this is incorporated, you open your pierogies. Sometimes requires a knife. And you don't even thaw them. Throw them in frozen. That is actually how the recipe works and what you want to do with them.
Yeah, you can hear that those are solid.
Now this is the one part of the recipe I really, really don't like. Because these are like little ice cubes. And I'm throwing them in a bowl with cold hot sauce and oil and really nothing else. But now you gotta mix them together. You gotta toss them to coat. So I'm gonna get my hands in here, and it's gonna be like dunking your hands in an ice bath. I suppose if I was smart, I could close this up and shake it, but the last time I tried that, I broke a bunch of the pierogies. You don't want that. So now, get in here and freeze your knuckles. Really, really quickly. It gets kind of painful. I suppose I could use a spoon, but this is just as fast and doesn't make a dirty dish. Though it does make for dirty hands. Alright, by now, your pierogi should be seasoned and should look like a savory, wonderful thing covered in garlic and onion and chili powder. You can also, since I'm using potato pierogies, I'm going to throw a little salt on as well. Not strictly speaking called for, but I think potato pierogies always call for a little extra salt and pepper. Alright, at this point you bring back your sheet pan. Throw your pierogi wrapper away.
Should you have preheated the oven?
Yeah, I was going to talk about that in a moment.
Okay.
And then you want to put your pierogies in a single layer right on top of your vegetables. You don't want to mix them in with the meat. The meat wants the direct heat. But the pierogies are going to get hot, the sauce is going to drip off, and it's going to merge with the vegetables below. So try to make sure you don't have them stacked on top of each other, and you break up the frozen ones until you have them all arranged in a nice single layer. All right, the next step is, of course, we're going to have to put them into an oven. We're going to put them into a 350-degree oven for about 20 minutes. You can double check when you start to see the edges of the sausage getting a little caramelized, when you see the peppers getting nice and soft, you'll be able to tell it's ready to come out. And if you like food a little bit more well done, it's perfectly fine to leave it in. The pierogies are not going to burn because they're actually covered with oil and seasoning.
And the sausage is already cooked through.
Yeah,
now.
It's a smoked sausage, so it was cooked already. Essentially, as long as it doesn't catch on fire, you're going to be fine. It's an impossible recipe to mess up. All right, so now I'm going to take it and drop it in the oven. And in just a few minutes, we'll show you what it looks like when it comes out.
350 for 20 minutes?
For 20 minutes.
All right, see you in 20 minutes, South Holland. Are ready when you are.
You're recording?
Yes. But this is all stuff I can edit out, so it's not a big deal.
Right. All right, so we put the sheet pan in the oven for 20 minutes. After the alarm went off, it realized it could use a little more. It wasn't quite as caramelized as I like, so I put it in for another 7 minutes. And it's ready to come out now.
Cooking times for you might vary. As I have mentioned before, our oven is literally from the Kennedy administration. So if yours is newer and works better, it might be a better cook.
So this is how it looks when it's done. You're going to see there's quite a bit of liquid in the bottom. So before very long, you're going to want to make sure you get this off into bowls that you're going to use for serving. Otherwise, it's going to end up getting a little soggy. I recommend make yourself a nice big bowl, and the condiments I recommend to go with it is a nice grainy brown mustard, if you have it, or if you do, a little bit of sour cream goes on there very, very well. All right, well, thanks for coming to Lunch with the Librarian's Husband. I'll probably not do this again for a very long time, so I hope you enjoy your food.
Thanks, South Holland. See you next week.